Hey guys, Mary Shelley here, formerly of San Jacinto College Central in Pasadena, Texas, right outside of Houston. And today I am going to talk to you guys briefly about how to put together an outdoor adventure trip, specifically in this case, a canoe trip, at a small 2-year community college. Now, I used to work at San Jacinto College, and it's 3 campuses: Central, South, and North. And while we are a 2-year commuter school, our total population, those 3 campuses combined, is over 30,000. Where Central I worked, there was 15,000. But where I consider the program small is we had 5,000 or less take part in our recreational sports program. So that's why I consider us to be a small program. So we do have a budget. And my idea was we have money in there for student travel, so I wanted to use this canoe trip down at our local Armand Bayou as part of our funds, so that way that the students would not have to pay a dime for this trip. And that was my goal with this, trying to put this together, is to give the students more opportunities to experience new things without it costing them anything. And I know this might not be possible in a lot of different places, but with the smaller schools, maybe hopefully with the budget, something like that. Or in previous years, before I could get it totally funded through our budget, we did a half and half deal where the college would pay half and the student would pay half. But then we sort of got in an ordeal with taking cash from students, and it just wasn't a road that we wanted to keep going down. So I had to fight to get us to be able to take on that $25 per student fee. And how I did this was I got together with our biology department, and they actually have a science society club on campus, which is pretty cool. And it's not like I was trying to gear this towards them, because I didn't want to close the door on other students that weren't in the club. But at the same token, this was sort of a vehicle that I could use to help us be able to fund the trip 100% on the college, as opposed to making the students pay any percent on this trip. So I went to a couple meetings, I met with the advisors of the club, and they were fully on board. They go through a lot of this stuff in their club. A lot of the kids are in the classes, biology, trying to think of the other class, but like biology, chemistry, botany, and things like that. So there are topics of interest, of course, when we're out there on a canoe. It's an Armand Bayou down here in the Houston area, so we have all different species of birds, plants, gators, pretty much you name it. So it's a good opportunity for them to actually experience and put what they're using in the classroom into a real life experience when they're on the water and they get to see it. And another cool part about putting the trip together was Armand Bayou, when we do the canoe trip, they have a guide that goes with us, and they kind of have a pretty good knowledge of the bayous and all of that. But we take 2 biology instructors from San Jac, and we do pay for them. It comes $25 comes out of our budget as a thank you to them for spending their time. It's usually on a Saturday morning, but they go and they sort of point out everything that's there. So I mean, and I tell the kids, it's not like you're in class, it's going to be boring, whatever. They're going to make it interesting, joke. It's going to be totally different than sitting in the classroom. You're in a boat, you're in canoes with your friends, totally different dynamic. So it works having the instructors come, and they love it. And we actually kind of have to cap the spaces because all the instructors want to go, and we can't do that. We take up 2 spots maybe, so they have a boat of their own, but that's it. We can't allow that many more to go because Armand Bayou only has a specific amount of canoes. So that's another reason for that. We want as many students to go as remotely possible, so that's why we do that. And basically, after we met with the Science Society, they were all for it, so we gave them a cap of 10 spots, and then we opened the rest of it to the general student body. And they would email me, call me, stop by the office if they were interested. I would give them more details, when it was, what they needed to bring, and of course they'd have to fill out a waiver from the college and a couple more forms just so everything was by the book. And that's basically all they had to do, rather than show up the morning of. That's it. We just needed their signature, show up, and then they have a good time. So this past trip that we took, it was last spring when I was there. It was my last trip there, actually. We had 16 people, I believe, and we had been having rainy weather, so the trip was kind of on again, off again. But that morning, the guide called me and said that we were good to go. So 14 students, 2 biology instructors, not a bad deal for a Saturday, 7:30 early in the morning, and then us having our weather issues. And after the canoe trip, we like to barbecue out in the park. And it's real nice wherever the boat launch is, and there's a little table picnic area right next to it. So using more funds from the college out of our student meal money, student travel trip money, we have access to a grill that's actually owned by us in Rec Sports. So I brought the grill out there. We went shopping. We got sausage dogs, chips, cookies, water, soft drinks. And so whenever they came back, which was about a 3-hour trip out there. And again, it's nothing like intense where they're racing or whatever, but it's just a slow and go out there, see everything. They go about 1.5 miles out, talking a lot of the time, and then 1.5 miles in. So 3 hours sounds like a lot of time, but it's not at all taxing on them. It's just kind of going out there and explaining things. So they came back, enjoyed the meal, and everybody was off on their way. And this is something that I love to do, and I was hoping that if I was there longer, I could go ahead and branch out into different things like fishing and hiking. So this is all possible when you're at two-year community colleges. Don't think that because you're at a small school, that your hands are tied and you can't do the same things as some of the other bigger, larger universities are doing. There's always a way. So start off with your student life, student advising, or coordinator, and see if they can help you out. See if they can give you some funds, or at least give you some pointers, which is my case. We went over there, and she was very nice about telling me how we could use our budget funds, basically by partnering up with another student-led club on campus. And that's how we were able to do this 100% using our college budget and not putting anything on the students. So go out there and partner up with anybody. We've partnered up with the veterans organization before. We partnered up with the library, biology. We've been with several other departments, and it goes wonderfully well. And then plus you have contacts and you have friends in that department. So if you're looking to offer new activities or trying to get a grasp if they're interested, that's definitely the way to go. I cannot stress that enough. Make friends, partner up on campus. It's your biggest resource.